There's a panic throughout the nation as the dead suddenly come back to life. The film follows a group of characters who barricade themselves in an old farmhouse in an attempt to remain safe from those bloodthirsty, flesh-eating monsters. By George Romero.
So how did that work out? Not so well.
No.
Yeah.
Live in the dungeon, this is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
Episode 68. Oh my gosh,
We're doing the classic here.
this was hard because on Amazon Prime, there's like, I don't know if you noticed, there's like 8 different versions of this movie.
I noticed that. Was there a black and white one?
So I didn't watch, I almost watched the colorized one, but I said, no, I want to watch it the way that the director did it, but I don't know.
I gotta tell you, I
almost watched both of them.
I watched the colorized one just because I
watched the first 5 minutes of it.
yeah.
And when I saw the
It was
car,
pretty awful, really.
when I saw the car and then
Yeah.
they were at the cemetery and they got out,
know-
I stopped it.
I have to say this for all of the hype of this, and I remember seeing this a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. Probably. You see, the thing is this movie used to make the rounds of the colleges again and again and again. So it was one of those rare movies that you could actually see after the release. I mean,
So how was it received when it was first released?
it was known as a classic horror
So
film.
people liked it when it came out.
Yeah, they did. But
But it wasn't like Star Wars level. It was just kind of like,
no, it was geeks and
So it
you
was
know,
like-
people like me
okay.
and you. But I have to say, in looking at it, and the thing is this is it's a hero film.
Yeah.
You know, this is, everybody looks at it, points at it, and says, this is where it all started. And I have to tell you, it is where it all started. The thing that I had never realized is that this film, it's like the rules of being a zombie did not evolve.
Huh.
They are all in this film.
Well, I was going to mention the fact that in 1932, White Zombie, just that movie,
Right.
that kind of started the zombie thing, but it didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
But
Right.
This actually, like you said, set rules that you see in Walking Dead.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
This set all the rules.
But I wouldn't
mean,
say, people say this is the first zombie film. It wasn't.
No.
But-
It wasn't the first zombie film, but this is the one that gave you that gave you the rules.
Kind of a blueprint.
They give you a blueprint
Yes.
of how this is a disease, how it spreads, how you take care of it. You know, the shot in the head, that they're afraid of fire.
Yep.
It's all here. I mean, it you know, that they're slow moving and all the rest of that.
And actually, one thing I liked about this that's different is that the zombies all looked kind of regular, like normal, like they just died.
Well, you know, did you notice this, that they did, except for when you were looking at single shots of them, when like when they were eating the hands and stuff.
Yeah.
There were several of them that, you know, had
like makeup on.
Yeah, had makeup on and stuff like that.
When they did close, I noticed that too. And I think it was a budget thing, wasn't it? Probably.
Probably.
Had to have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
like
sure.
the fact it was black and white. I actually kind of enjoyed watching it black and white.
You know what? I'm not going to go back and see it again, but you know, I was talking to somebody about I can't remember who it was, but I was talking about the year that acting started to change, that movies started to change from they came from theater, right? And theater had the great acting tradition, and there was this thing called the theater voice.
Yeah.
And the thing is the theater voice was slightly modified and became the movie voice, and that actors had that voice forever. They had that voice was common up until about 1968.
I can see that.
Now, it's funny because the TV voice had like started to normalize and evolve, but not the movie voice. And you notice it in this film done in 1968, but the film that everybody talked about, where people talked a real voice, was do you remember the one? Bonnie and Clyde.
Ah, okay.
You know, this is why everybody turns around and says Roman Polanski was such a groundbreaking director. Was that film, you know, the violence of the film was one thing, but the most important thing is that people started to talk, you know, without, you know, enunciating things. And in the funny thing I definitely noticed in this film, you had that 50s, you know,
right, yeah,
that sort of theatrical talk going back and forth.
One thing I find amazing about this, which I never thought about when I first saw this, because the first time I saw this, I was really young, but the fact that it was 1968, and basically the main character is a black man.
Right.
And one of the lines he says, he's like, he tells the white guy, the older guy, the bald guy.
Right.
He says, you better just do what I say. Like,
yeah,
shut the hell up and do what I say.
And it's not a racist thing.
No.
But you know what was funny?
That could have been controversial at that time, right?
It could have.
It had to have been. I don't know.
It could have. And you know what the weird thing that kind of got me was how they treated the women. I mean.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't even count the women.
They weren't counting
the guy that was
the
saying, there's three of us that can work together. And I was like, well, there are women there too. They didn't count them.
There's 5 of you that can work together. No. Yeah, no, I definitely noticed that. And the girl that was tripping out, you know, they were like, oh, that was too far.
Yeah, they showed too long.
At some point.
I did like the final girl was a black man. That was great.
Right.
The fact that the final girl.
Yeah, the final girl was a black man. And that it had nothing to do with race.
There was no race really.
There was no race.
No.
There was
you gotta wonder if there's some undercurrents, like maybe they wanted to do it that way on purpose. But why would he have a black man do that in 1968? I mean, you had to think he had that thought process, like, well, how are people gonna take this if I have him be the hero?
And especially considering that, you know, and the thing that it was definitely an East Coast thing.
Okay,
you know, it's like everything was East Coast. Yeah. In the West, it wouldn't have been a problem because everybody would have gone out, you know, out into the desert and just died. But
did Johnny remind you of the Jeff Goldblum a little bit? The guy, Johnny, the guy with the glasses in the cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of reminded me of Jeff Goldblum. It was amazing.
He did. He killed easily, by the way.
Yes.
He sure went down. He went down quick. And by the way, I didn't know this before, but they must have had easy lighting human charcoal back then, because that one guy on the porch, the first guy that they light on, that he lights in fire, he drags the guy out on the porch and lights him on fire. It was like, oh, you just dropped the match on him and I was like, wow, they sure burn easy.
And the music was kind of magical, I thought. Like, well, I mean, not magical. It was just a little over the top, but it like swelled. It was like an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
It was everything. The music was everything. The sound and the music were absolutely everything. You know,
which in high school, I did a project for my humor and satire class, and I took this movie and I put Louis Armstrong and What a Wonderful World over it. And that actually worked pretty well.
Yeah, really.
Give you kind of a warm feeling.
You know what? I wanted to put something in context here. Is that by the time that this was playing, it was going up against, in 1968, the end of the Twilight series. Twilight Zone. You know, so you were
okay.
You know, that broad acting again. You know,
yeah. So I liked how they tried to do jump scare, but it didn't really work with the animals on the wall, the taxidermy.
Oh yeah,
they tried to do a jump scare, but it's all with music and a cut.
Yeah, and I don't think it worked.
No,
you know, it wasn't very scary looking.
So the unfortunate thing is I can't read half my. There's some really classic horror things that came. Like, this is like early. I would say this is an early horror movie. Obviously, I mean, for modern day, because a lot of stuff is still happening.
Right.
In Nightmare on Elm Street movies, it all happened. Like, it was she trips when she's being chased. There's no keys in the car.
Right.
She runs to a farmhouse.
Right. You see,
it's all the
this-
classic stuff.
I think they're called tropes.
Yeah.
There was an amazing piece of dialogue that they came up with. We might not enjoy living together, but dying together isn't going to solve anything. Yeah.
Oh, I think. What the hell am I right there? Huh.
Oh, by the way, you know the TV part, when we're cutting to the TV part, did you notice the general with the mustache? I mean, general, he had an Italian mustache that was just, and I thought to myself, I don't think that they were allowed to have
I don't think
facial
so.
hair back then. I mean, I don't think so at all. And boy, did he have a cheeser of an Italian
See, I think
Broad Street.
I think George Romero was onto something here. He was doing a movie about civil rights movement. It was very undercurrent there, and then also consumerism, American consumerism.
Oh yeah, well there was no, absolutely there was a.
But I think that's what this movie's about more than about the horror part of it.
Oh yeah, well
Maybe I give him too much credit.
Yeah, I think you're giving everybody a lot of credit.
So the Cold War, because I was thinking about the zombies.
You know what I noticed is that there was definitely. I mean, the zombies drove the beginning of it, right? I mean, for 20 minutes, it was all zombies all the time. And then...
Well, you had the radio and the TV explaining things as you went along.
Right, as you went along. But I'm saying that then it became a very play-like...
Because they're on a set, basically.
Yeah, and basically the exterior threat has been explained. I mean, in 20 minutes we explain the exterior threat, and then there's the back and forth as they hate one
with each other.
They have conflict with each other, and then eventually they come together to make a really, really poor plan.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And then of course the idiot, you knew that he was going to screw that up.
Oh yeah, but absolutely, and you know that her coming along was going to just really mess it up.
Oh, and there was do you remember the scene where Heather Langenkamp goes, "A door,
a door"? Yeah, was there
a radio?
Oh, that's right, a radio. That's absolutely. I thought about that at the time.
The two guys that showed up, though, don't you think that the level of acting, the main guy, which is probably why he was the main guy, because he was probably the strongest actor.
He was one of the strongest.
The two other guys were kind of down here.
Oh,
they were horrible.
Yeah, really. But and they were also. He was doing a little bit more of the realistic thing.
Yeah, well,
it was just changing.
I didn't really think about that.
And they were really doing that broad play, especially the two, the couple.
Oh yeah,
the older couple downstairs. They were doing like Ralph Cramden kind of.
Yeah, the little girl was the one that was sick. Was a great actress though.
She was sick. That's all she was.
Well, she did an excellent job of killing.
Well, but little girls are.
It reminded me of what was that? The Demon Seed, or was that the movie? Yeah, Demon Seed. That was early on. That was before this, but I don't know. Anyway,
I like the fact when they got the guts. You know,
the entrails and everything.
Everybody had
awesome.
the entrails and stuff, and that was when all the close-ups were.
I do like this scene. If you go through any haunted house, you always encounter this now, where hands coming through the wall, grabbing you and stuff.
Right.
I like that effect. Then when I first saw the movie, and I still like it.
Right. No, it was very good.
But it's very simple. I mean, the whole movie is simple.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, it really, and see that was the thing is it was a simple movie.
There's some sci-fi, I don't know what's going on with the lighting, because when the zombies were walking toward the end, there was this weird shimmer on them, like somebody was holding a mirror and
Oh yeah, well, it's daylight was
very sci-fi.
Oh, did you notice that? Did you notice the miniature psycho shower scene?
Yes.
Did you see? I swear that hit me immediately. I was like, "Wow, this is absolutely the psycho shower scene." It's cut together the same way. Oh, and by the way, there was an interesting thing that they did in here is the driving gloves.
Yes.
Remember the guy at the beginning has the driving gloves, and then we were so careful that the reason that they did that is later on when he comes in with the crowd,
you recognize him.
You recognize him by the gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the There's also a line, kill the brain and you kill the ghoul.
Oh, I wrote it down. It's right here. Kill the brain, you kill the ghoul.
Oh, so there's the scene when the girl was killing the mom. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of those Salvador Dali movies that were just really surreal, kind of crazy. Like
Right.
I was thinking Salvador Dali when I saw that. It was weird. Like,
Yeah, but it
was very like psychedelic. So 1968 would make sense.
yeah, but it was obviously the psycho shower scene.
Yes.
When she was doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
that it was.
But the way they did the lighting and the blood splattering and the angle and everything,
Yeah.
it was really weird. But I like that
true.
scene a lot.
Yeah,
I like how it kind of looked like a documentary too. At the when the cops, especially at the end when they showed up,
right.
it looked like it was a documentary. They made it look realistic.
Oh yeah,
like a newsreel.
Yeah, they really did, and especially when it faded at the very very end.
Yeah,
where they're just doing the stills.
Yeah,
the grainy stills. Yeah, that was.
And they showed them dragging the body out, getting the bonfire ready.
Yeah,
so, yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts in the movie. It's weird. But it's like,
when I did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, we had them at the very beginning, and they're going past the scene of one of the family's killing spots where they were digging up all the bodies.
Yeah.
And we were doing all those gooey shots and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were trying to get that same desaturated color, kind of like, and making it look like the Flash was.
Right.
So we owe a great deal of debt to the style of this film and to knowing how zombies react. George Romero wrote the book.
Yeah. I like how I mean a lot of stuff where they get shot, they just kind of back up and then they keep walking, or they
and they
almost
keep on
fall
coming
over.
out. Yeah, but you gotta hit the head.
Right.
So
then, so does this mean that you're on for Night of the Living Dead 1990?
Absolutely.
Because William Butler was in that.
Really,
I think.
Really,
I should check that before I say it.
You should.
But no, I think he was murdered in that one.
Really? Let's see.
Yep, there he is.
William Butler, there he is.
So yeah,
he has been killed in all the greatest films.
What's weird is I do remember liking Return of the Living Dead, but I don't remember when that came out or what order that came out in.
By the way, I wanted to mention something. I in writing the book that I'm writing now about Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I was talking to just the other day I was talking to it'd be Rick Barker. Rick Barker is the stuntman that was the coordinator on 3 and 4, and the stunt coordinator, and he also was the guy who duplicated Freddy.
Oh.
And he was really good. I mean, he could really duplicate his walk and his move, and really we talked about how he was studying Freddy, trying to get all that down. And in doing it, I was just thinking of how we were copying so much stuff out of all these other horror films, standing on the shoulders of all these horror films, and how the rules were so important.
Right, yeah.
And he's saying, he says, oh yeah, it's because Freddy, he leans like this, and you saying, and then his back goes like this, and it was fun talking to him, because I realized that a film like The Return of the Living Dead creates the zombies, and then you create your favorite serial killer. In your series, and then you kind of like are stuck with it.
I swear there was a Frankenstein.
Yeah, well,
there was a zombie that looked almost exactly like Frankenstein.
Well, at the same time, it's a lot of the movement of the zombies was Frankenstein.
Now, couldn't you argue? I know it's a vampire movie, but couldn't you argue like Nosferatu kind of had like some zombie kind of qualities?
Yeah,
I mean, just the way he moved.
Oh yeah, the way that he moved. Nosferatu is one of my favorites, and it's not that you
The story isn't amazing.
The
but
story
no, that
is
a
not
good movie.
amazing, but what
Yeah.
it does is
Same thing with White Zombie.
yeah,
That was a great
it's
movie,
doing
too.
it's doing mood. It's creating this
Yeah.
this look and oddly enough, it was hardly done better at any time.
Which, by the way, I looked up White Zombie and I found it on Amazon. Prime,
Really?
And I watched
Yeah.
it.
Wow,
But it was like, it's so short. It's like, over an hour, I think.
Really?
But I gotta Nosferatu. I gotta watch that one again.
I gotta watch that one again
'Cause I like
It's
that
been
movie.
a long time. Yeah.
But,
So,
yeah, Return of the Living Dead came out in 1985. I didn't realize it came out before the remake of the Night of the Living Dead, basically.
Right. Well, it's the Return of the Living Dead came out in '85.
Oh, and then there's another one.
It came out in '66.
This is an amazing movie. Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Not the one that came out in 1978.
Oh,
That one, I think, is what I'm thinking of. But no, that was an amazing movie. It was.
wasn't that the
it was
one
in
in
a
the
mall?
mall?
I think. Yeah,
that's the one
Yeah.
in the mall.
Yeah.
The one in the mall was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it
see,
really was.
Once again, consumerism.
Yeah.
Or capitalism. Or
Oh
however you
yeah,
want to put
yeah,
it.
and that was pretty apparent.
And it was still during the Cold War, just like the first one.
Yeah.
So I think there was some Cold War.
Wow, look at that, an 8.0 on that. What now? What did?
Oh, 8.0 and Dawn of the Dead. Night of Living Dead 1968, 7.9.
7.9.
Of course, it has a lot more people rating it.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it did.
See, when I was watching this this time, I was thinking, I wonder if these are people that have watched it again or like revisited it,
Yeah.
or maybe, you know what I mean? Because like maybe back in the day they didn't like it, but now they do. It's kind of one of those films that's evolved, I think. Become
Yeah,
a cult classic. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny because I think that in a way, I'm not looking back at it to be scared, and I'm not looking back at it to because this moment is past to me completely. But I'm looking back at it to put it in historical perspective.
Yeah,
Because
well,
there's
totally.
so many
I see
things
your
that
point
came
there.
from it. You know, I mean,
I just wish there was a better print somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, well,
all the
that-
versions I
that's-
saw were pretty bad looking.
yeah, it's true.
Even the remastered ones didn't look that great.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look back on Rampage with Dwayne Johnson 30 years from now and be like, "Wow, that was an amazing movie."
Well, you know, here's the thing, though. Think about this for a minute. How about all these people that are calling all the period that I was doing horror films and
Yes,
at the
yep.
core of it as being the second golden age? You know,
yeah.
and I swear you don't know that it's that when you're in the middle of it.
Right.
When you're in the middle of it, you're
So the third golden age is probably
Doing
like
your-
teenage romance movies in the 90s. Like the independent ones that came out early 90s.
yeah.
No. Shakespeare in Love, or I don't know.
I don't know. It's a Yeah.
Clueless.
Yeah, Clueless. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well there you go. Now you're talking. So how would you rate this?
Well, see, it's kind of like you've added more levels to my thought process now, because if this is like an early kind of guideline to future movies that I really like.
Yeah, you know, what surprised me is how many, I don't want to say tropes in a way, but how complete he made the rules in one film.
And I thought the main actor was great. I liked it.
I really did.
I was
I liked him
into
a lot.
that guy, and I was like, okay, I want him to win. And then
Yeah,
when I thought he was going to win,
yeah, really.
no, but I like how he did that and how he seemed to carry everybody else, which kind of is amazing to me.
Right.
And the fact that he was a black man, 1968, that helped a lot too. Because if it was a white guy in charge, I would have been like, especially if it was that old fat guy, the
Yeah, right.
bald
yeah,
guy.
it's
I
like,
didn't like him. But no, I think people might be a little generous, but maybe it's because they're thinking it was a cult classic and they have to rate it higher. But if I
Yeah,
was
you
gonna
see, no, you're absolutely right.
you see what I'm saying though. But-
You know what? For the history,
Yes, for the history, I'd rate it
for
higher.
what it was, I would put it at a 3.
yeah.
You know, for the history, so many people have done
Yeah.
it so much better and have run with those rules. But he was the first.
Yeah. But then as a film,
Yeah, you got
might
to
not
rate it
rate
as
it
a
as
film.
high.
Yeah, exactly.
so I don't know. I mean, so I guess you take the average then.
I'm giving it a 3.
So, I might give it a, yeah, I think I'm right there with you actually. Hate to say I agree with you. That
Yeah,
sucks.
that doesn't work.
Doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it's
3.1. Damn it.
you have to take a shower.
So
I
how did-
agreed with Mick.
How did William Shatner make the transition from TV to movie? He didn't. He just did the same thing all the time.
Did he? Did he though?
Anyway, which I think he was in a Tales from the Dark Side episode. Anyway, that's another story. Probably.
Was he?
I think so. I might be wrong. I might be thinking of Outer Limits. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're thinking of Outer Limits.
Yeah.
Well, he was on the classic.
I've watched all those shows.
He was in the classic Twilight Zone though.
The only show I haven't
He
seen.
was the one that's looking out on the wing
Yeah.
and seeing the gremlin on the wing.
yes,
That's
yes.
William Shatner. Come
That's
on.
right. But I've seen all those movies. The only one, or all those shows, the serial shows.
Yeah.
Except for one that I really want to see,
Which is?
Freddy's Nightmares. It's like,
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
there you go.
Yeah, I have to go to YouTube and watch those crappy.
Yeah, but they're terrible. They really are. They're the worst. They are so far beyond being a bad print. They make that print that we saw of Meet the Feebles look like high art. I mean, just they're terrible.
I think I'd like to get my hands on just one decent print, good episode, and then we can review that. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, if we can find one. Yeah.
We got off track there. But
Yeah, we did. I have no other story to go with this either.
No.
I'm tired tonight. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay.
This is Kurt Thomas along with Mick Strawn. Thank you for listening to the Dream Warrior Review. If you have any questions or just have feedback for our show, we welcome them at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com. Of course, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter as well. As always, please follow us and tell your friends about us too. See you next time.